everybody, and welcome to our garden. You get to see it when it's nice out finally, and it's a big day. It is a big day because tomatoes are going in the ground, which is super exciting, and I hope you can hear me okay because it is a bit windy. But anyway, I figured I would show you what's going on. Hey, honey. Post hole digger for tomatoes.
Yep.
Is there a reason we have to post hole dig tomatoes?
Everyone else has their, this is the only way you should ever plant tomatoes, so I'm going to make my own only way you should ever plant tomatoes.
Okay.
And that's with a post hole digger.
I mean, in reality, it kind of makes sense because I'm going to come over here and check out these.
Better for the sun.
That's pretty good. Those are our tomatoes. They're slightly massive. So, yeah. So how deep are you going to have to make these holes?
I don't know, 12, 18, 24. It's a little moist.
Well, it's been a really wet spring. I'll get out of your way so you don't have to worry about hitting me.
Yeah, if you wear shoes, then I wouldn't worry about hitting me.
So, just a little update on what's going on out here. We've got our garlic that we overwintered. That's all looking really good. This first section here is Swiss chard. Then we've got all of this is our parsnips that are just starting to come up. That was a late addition to what we decided to plant. And then we've got carrots and all of our volunteer blackberries, because our blackberries are losing their minds. All right, so what's going to be our strategy here, or your strategy? Because let's be honest, this is a you thing.
Well, tomatoes are pretty tall, and they will sprout roots off of any vine that comes into contact with soil. So, a lot of people say put them on the side, that way you have more roots. But then you're still only a couple inches deep, and the top of your soil always dries out. And everybody knows when soil dries out, and then tomatoes get a bunch of water, they split. So, instead of planting them on the side, I plant them deep where it's always moist, and then we have less splitting issues.
That makes sense. So we use the bucket method. I know it's going to be kind of hard to see because it is sunny out here. So instead of having to till up our entire yard or garden, there we go, we just have a very large deep hole that we're going to plant the tomato in. All right, so I'm assuming you have some sort of concoction that you're going to be putting in these holes.
I do.
Which
Got
is
pretty tough clay.
Okay.
So I'm adding some compost to help, or not compost. I've added compost in the past to help lighten it up. Now I'm adding some peat moss. And then to amend the soil, I'm gonna add some rock phosphate, a 1/4 cup, dolomite lime, 1/2 cup, and a 1/2 cup of a organic fertilizer. This one is 253 with 7% calcium and 0.5% magnesium.
Cool.
So hopefully that should be most of the fertilizer they will need. Now with plants that you're wanting to eat the fruit, you do not want a lot of nitrogen, because nitrogen promotes leaf growth. But you need leaves when you start out, but whenever it's time to make the fruit, you don't want a lot of nitrogen because you want the plant to focus on making fruit, not leaves.
makes sense.
And just try to mix it up pretty good. So as you can see, it's pretty wet. Clay's still forming lots of balls, not really breaking up the best, but I think it'll be all right.
We have super clay-filled soil here.
All right. I guess I'm burying hearts up. You can see they're a little tall.
A little, yeah.
So I'm going to break off all the stems that I plan on burying. Really just leave this little bit at the top. Probably could have gone deeper, but plenty deep into that clay, so see, roots around the bottom. So I've already up potted them once. Roots haven't quite all spread out on the top yet, but they'll take off. Nice to see that they're not root bound.
As much as they've been growing over the last like 2 weeks, I had a feeling there was no way they were going to be root bound.
So yeah, I could have went a lot deeper.
Yeah, well, it's a good thing that you use the buckets that you can build it up.
Yeah, I won't build it up too high, much higher than. And now, just carefully backfill around it. Don't want to pack the soil down too much, but you don't want to leave it super fluffy either with a bunch of air pockets. I hope nobody's OCD, because it is nowhere near the center. Snake it around here and make it. So I use 5-gallon buckets around it because that's what we grew up doing. I don't know if it's as necessary now that I have drip irrigation, but whenever we hand watered everything, what we would do is go around and fill this bucket up with water, bottoms cut out of it, and that would be how much you would water the tomato plant every other day. So it'd get about 4 gallons of water. And then that would force the water to soak down into the soil instead of just running off on the top.
Awesome.
And if you're planting it in an area that has lots of weeds, you could weed eat up against it without having to hit the tomato plant, or mulch up against it without having anything right against the plant.
Awesome.
So I'm just gonna finish putting as much soil back in here as I can. And then we'll put a cage around it.
Awesome.
Over that wouldn't fit back in the bucket, but I'll just add that to a raised bed, and none of the soil or amendments will go to waste. My tomato cages, if you know, you know. If you don't know, it's concrete reinforcement mesh wrapped up to make a cage.
They're pretty awesome cages.
Yeah, definitely better than anything you could buy at the store.
I mean, we've had these for a really long time. Since, what, at least 8 years at this point?
I think so. Take a lot to make them rot away. Zip tie to hold it to the T-post. Satisfy OCD. Flip the zip tie off.
And we are going to wrap them?
I'm going to go ahead and wrap them. We're about a week early, according to the almanac. So, and there is one night in the next 5 days it's supposed to get down to 38. So, I'm going to make greenhouses.
This method works really well.
Yeah. Unless it's windy.
Well, so basically what's going to happen is we're going to pull this thing down, we're going to tape the bottom, probably do a little bit of taping on the top, and that's going to what's going to help. Going to do. I'm going to stop filming because he's probably going to need my help.
So put a wrap around the bottom, wrap around the top, and then this cage I didn't build very well. It's got a lot of wires sticking out where I tied the two ends together. So just put some duct tape there. You're gonna end up with little holes. It's not the end of the world. Bottom, we used a 55-gallon clear trash bag, so they're not quite tall enough. I'll either cut some trash bags up and fill in that bottom piece, or just get a sheet of plastic to wrap around it, tape it up. You don't have to tape the top or even the side if you don't want to. I do it because eventually, whenever they get about halfway up or it starts to get real hot, I'm going to come in and cut the top of these out and take the bottom plastic off so it can vent. And then the plastic's just on the sides to make the tomato grow up instead of bush out.
Which will end up helping in the long run.
Which will end up helping in the long run. Now, I already could smell the comments getting typed. You're going to cause white mold and blight because you're not getting any airflow. Every year we do get a little white mold and blight at the end of the season, but it's well after, months after we take the plastic off. So in my opinion, it doesn't cause any additional problems. If you don't like it, don't use it.
That's kind of our motto. If you don't like it, don't do it. We don't care.
Yeah, I'm just doing what works for me. What works for me and what works for you are two different things.
All right, so basically you're just gonna repeat process on all the rest of them. How many tomatoes are we doing?
We're gonna do 8 in this garden, and then probably 3 or 4 more, probably 4 more out in a different bed. We've never grown tomatoes in a raised bed before, so that'll be our experiment for the year.
And then you said something about basil too.
Yes, in some of these, I think the middle 4, I'm gonna put basil seeds in there. So the basil will grow up underneath. Maybe that'll help with soil splashing up onto the leaves, which causes blight. And the aroma of basil is supposed to keep pests away. So we shall see.
And this is not the basil that I'm planning to harvest to eat. This is basil that will probably bolt.
We'll either bolt or we'll harvest it. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see.
We're rogue. We do what we want.
All right, well, I'll come back out and check on you because I got things I got to do inside.
Okay.
And we'll see how it's going.
Yep. We'll see if we get at least these 8 planted tonight.
Awesome. See you later.
See you.
Hello.
Hi.
How you doing?
All right.
How far'd you get so far?
I got this one to finish and 2 more to do.
Awesome.
Plus whatever we do out in the other garden.
They look good. killed a super sauce.
Yep.
Did you get a little overzealous with the plucking?
Nope. That club hit it and snapped it right off.
Aw. But that's why you always start extras.
Yep.
Oof, it's getting windier out.
Yeah.
So which one's this?
This is an Amish, or no, an Abe Lincoln.
Abe Lincoln. What's this guy?
That should be it's in there, that Hungarian heart.
Hungarian heart. Cool.
So,
We'll have,
should be, well, you start right in front of you. Hungarian heart, Abe Lincoln. That'll be a super sauce.
Okay.
Abe Lincoln, Hungarian heart, Abe Lincoln, Hungarian heart.
Nice. Little pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we need more than 2 super sauces.
Really?
Maybe 3.
I was gonna do 4.
Or 4.
Because why not?
Okay, I'm excited for those. The blackberries are looking very happy. Lots of blackberries. Lots of new shoots coming out of the ground. Blackberries will come on late June. And we'll probably have, well, it's usually about 3 solid weeks of picking with blackberries. 2 weeks where we're picking twice a day. Okay. Awesome. I just wanted to check in and see how you were doing out here.
Yep, I'll have to bring up 2 more tomatoes from downstairs, but...
Sweet. So I'm gonna be really honest with you. I forgot to finish filming. So this is about a week-ish later. So I'm gonna give you a little garden tour as an added bonus to this video. So here we go. So coming into the garden, you've got all of our hostas and bleeding hearts here. Basically that's just to help with erosion, and nothing really vegetably can grow here because it gets absolutely no sun. So that's all regrowth from last year. Let's swing around this way. We've got peppers all along here in the front. Behind them is all the Boston pickling cucumbers. I believe I've got bell peppers here. Then it goes into jalapenos, banana peppers, and these are alter egos. No idea what they are. We saw them. We basically bought them to fill out the bed. Coming around this way. Carrots are looking great. As you can see, a little soupy out here. Our more along this side is the cucumbers, obviously, and then this is how the parsnips are doing. We've got freebie mushrooms. That tells you how good our soil is. Swiss chard. Garlic is looking amazing. And here are the tomatoes. So one thing that Brandon did come through and do, it's gonna be hard for me to see, but he went through and poked little baby holes on the top of these so that the water from rain can drain through and water the plants. But yeah, he sealed them up completely. Cut through here. We've got more bell peppers back here, I believe. These are not covered because they were planted after the frost, and we actually he had something over them and just took it off because they weren't really hardened off yet, so we didn't want the sun to scorch them. But now, because we really haven't had sun for a couple days, so he thinks they're gonna be okay. Blackberries are doing great. And I want to show you that we've got a lot of little bloomage happening. Every single one of those is going to be a blackberry. So if you can see, we're gonna have a lot. We're gonna make our way out this way here. So there's the onions. We've got parsnips down at the far end. The only thing we really don't have planted out here is we're gonna put beans up there. Come this way. Oh, grass is wet. Anyway, I gotta come out and cut lettuce. Our lettuce is looking great here. So yeah, the lettuce is ready to cut. Sunday it wasn't quite ready. It is definitely ready today. So I've got to cut lettuce. Remnants of strawberries. All these things throughout here are all the radishes, which some of those are ready to go. I'm actually gonna pop one. Look at that guy. So I am in love with eating things directly out of the soil. It's one of my favorite things to do. It's probably not the nicest, but I enjoy it. Oh wow, that's fabulous. That's really good. Okay, anyway, sorry. We don't use chemicals, so you can eat right out of the garden. We've got more cucumbers here, basil, some sage, oregano's in here, more oregano here, which I also need to cut. And then we're gonna make our way up this way. Brandon dug in more drip irrigation, so that's that. Let's venture up this way, guys. Like I said, this is all gonna be more parsnips. And I've got sage in that pot. Some of it is last year and some of it is this year. And then my herb garden. That is lemon verbena. I've got rosemary and fennel. 2 different types of thyme. Italian parsley, cardinal basil, elephant basil, mammoth basil. Mint, lemon balm, and lemongrass. Guys, that is planting tomatoes, how we do it, or how Brandon does it, I guess technically, and then our garden. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this little bit of a garden tour tacked on at the end of this, if you stuck around this long. And as usual, see us over on TikTok. We post over there all the time, all the crazy little projects that we have going on. And I would love to hear what you think. So like and comment below. And if you're new, subscribe. We'd love to see you hang around. Have a good one, guys. Bye. So what's going on out here, hun?
Grilling pans and burning pork. Maybe the other way around.
Yeah, I think it's the other way around. So basically, what we're doing is burning off all the crap that are on these things, correct?
That's the theory.
That's the theory. They're smoking. There's a lot of junk on these things. They were pans that we got in an estate sale, and we're trying to clean them up. Any words of wisdom for the world of TikTok?
Their pans are hot. Don't touch them.
You heard it here first, folks. Don't touch hot pans. Okay, real wisdom.
If you're broke, you gotta do what you gotta do to get nice stuff. Sometimes that means fixing up junk.
Because we paid what? Not even 20 bucks for those?
No, less than 20. I'd have to look at the receipt, but probably 10 or less.
So yeah,